With a 30% price gain in gold this year, we find out how investing in this precious metal stacks up when compared to investing in Nigeria's fixed income and FX markets. Chioma Udu is a Forex trader at GT Bank. She now joins me from Lagos to discuss this and other factors shaping Nigeria's money markets today. Chioma, always a pleasure to have you for conversations on CNBC Africa. So this price shift that we see in gold, is it enough to convince investors to begin to consider this asset class?
Well, Christy, it depends on the gold reserve we have in Nigeria. Well, for now, gold is mainly mined in some northern states in the country. Well, it can also add to the revenue because closing yesterday, gold traded at $2,000 per kg. I know that Nigeria has recently refined its gold reserve in bar and paid about 268 million naira for a 12.5 kg bar for a start. So it's a good step in the right direction if the country considers it as a source of income and reserve.
Good step in the right direction. Now, talking about the rave that usually follows a new theme, quote unquote now. Now, gold also seems to be a new direction that the Central Bank of Nigeria is looking into, like you rightly mentioned. But I'm thinking, what can gold do for Nigeria's reserves at this time?
Well, it can serve as a store of reserve, a store of value as well. And if we have a lot of that stored, it could be converted when we need to stock up on foreign exchange as well, and a source of revenue for the country.
So let's go to the fixed income market proper now. Chioma, what's moved the market so far this week?
I'm opening this today. The money market opened at about 300 billion long. This is after debit from the central bank for the retail auction held yesterday. We think that rate is going to trade at about 10%, which is lower from the 14% it did yesterday. Moving to the fixed income space, market has been quiet, but with a bullish bias on the short end of the curve. We've seen a lot of investors trying to cover up for the bids that was lost at the last auction. So we have seen a lot of bullish strength coming from that space. But we've seen a lot of traders trying to grab their quotes because we don't have a lot of T-bills to offer at that space. So traders are guarding their quotes, but it's a bye-bye all the way.
Chioma, speaking of a borderline quiet market now, clearly the latest PMI figures that we see have heightened calls on vigorous implementation of the government's economic sustainability plans. Are there any intervention that you think that the government could bring about in the macro economy that could spur positive movement within Nigeria's fixed income and forex markets?
Well, I think for investors all over the country and anywhere, it's a yield game, really. If the government, like you said, bring in some policies that can help the yield, then we're going to see some activity or more activity return on the fixed income market. But as we speak, yields on the fixed income space is currently at 3 to 5%, and it's a buy for any trade that we see. We haven't seen a lot of fixed income trades, and the bond space rather. It's more of profit taking. So we see people just dumping in, taking advantage of the low yields right now. But overall, the market still remains very, very quiet.
And what's your near-term outlook for the markets?
We expect that the market is going to be quiet throughout this week. We don't expect that there will be any auctions. There's no auctions this week. There's no more auction this week. We have a maturity, but we don't think the central bank will offer any more auctions. So it's going to be a quiet market with more of a bullish bias.
So more specifically speaking, where are we seeing more buying interest from investors at this time, Chioma?
Well, we have seen investors looking for high interest assets. We've seen them look for promissory notes. We've seen them look for sukuk bonds. And then a few of them still have interest in the fixed income market. But really, for investors now, it's a yield game. So wherever they see high interest assets, you see them go there.